some public hearings this evening and a work session, so I'd like to be mindful of everyone's time. The time is 5:34 p.m. I would like to call our public hearing to order. Mr. Parker, could you please call the roll?
Ms. Daniels. Ms. Davis.
Present.
Ms. Green.
Present.
Mr. Jones.
Here.
Ms. Rawls.
Present.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Present.
Ms. Bowers.
Present. Please note for the record that Councilwoman Daniels is excused this evening. In her absence, I will preside over the public hearing on behalf of the Community and Economic Development Committee. For this hearing, there is one bill for discussion. It is Bill 3 of 2025. Mr. Parker, could you please read it into the record?
Yes. Bill 3 of 2025, an ordinance amending the City of Harrisburg's official zoning map to change the parcel's zoning designation of 640 Ulrich Street from the industrial IND zone to the residential medium density RM zone pursuant to Chapter 7-303 of the codified ordinances of the City of Harrisburg.
Thank you. Who is here on behalf of the administration to provide an overview of Bill 3 of 2025?
Jeffrey Knight, Planning Director with the city. So I believe we had discussed this at a previous workshop session where we discussed that this is essentially kind of like a curative amendment to the original zoning map that was adopted in 2014. And when that happened, the subject property was looped into the industrial zoning district with larger properties to the north and east of it. And
I'm sorry, if we could.
He has to be sworn in.
Yes,
is that
he needs
correct?
to be. He needs to be sworn in first. And I first would like to put the exhibits on the record.
Okay.
Just for clarity. So if we would take a step back, just for the record, I'm Tirsa Cameron, Deputy Solicitor. And for public hearing, Bill 3 of 2025, in accordance with 7303, we will enter 7 exhibits, I believe. So Exhibit A is the zoning map amendment application with all attachments. Exhibit B is the Harrisburg Planning Bureau case report. Exhibit C is the Dauphin County Planning Commission report. Exhibit D is the resolution of the Harrisburg Planning Commission. Exhibit E is the extension letter from the applicant. Exhibit F is the posting, a copy of the posting, and then proof of posting, which are photos. Exhibit G is the public notice advertisement, and H is the proof of the publication of those advertisements. At this time, I guess I would have the applicant and/or her representative come forward as well so they could be sworn in case you all have questions for any of them. So then on behalf of the city, of course, we will have Jeffrey Knight, Planning Director, and I believe Mrs. Patricia Walker? Paulette, Walker is the property owner and the applicant for the zoning map amendment. So now, Mr. Knight, if you would nicely continue.
sorry.
Oh, sorry, sworn in and then continue. I guess.
Would you like me to do it?
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone who's going to be testifying, if you would like to raise your right hand now, that way. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Thank you.
Oh.
Mr. Knight, go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, sorry for jumping the gun there a little bit. So as I was noting, we had previously discussed this issue, and essentially what it came down to was just when the current zoning map was developed between 2008 and 2010, which was later adopted in July 2014, the Subject property was encompassed by the industrial zoning district of the properties to the north and east of this property, and without kind of regard for the clear differentiation in the use and history of the property. And so the current proposal is being brought forth as kind of, again, a curative amendment. And the applicants can provide more information about the background of it, but in essence, as Ms. Walker is looking to sell the property, the industrial zoning designation, I guess, has created some hiccups in that process. And so she has requested that the property be rezoned to the residential medium density district, which is how the blocks just to the south of this site along like Penwood Street and further west on Ulrich Street are also zoned. So this would not represent, a spot zoning proposal in the midst of an industrial district or anything like that. And so from the Planning Bureau's perspective, this is a relatively straightforward request and proposal. The Planning Commission has recommended that the City Council approve the request without conditions for the following reasons. The subject property is adjacent to and representative of residential properties to the south, which are located in the residential medium density zoning district, meaning that uses permitted by the new zoning district would not be contrary to the character of the neighborhood and would include those which could otherwise be established in adjacent properties. Property appears to have been incorrectly zoned as industrial by previous city staff, an error propagated during the 2014 review and adoption of the current zoning code and map. Property is and always has been residential, yet the current zoning designation would not permit such a use by right. And finally, the applicant has provided evidence and testimony documenting that the current industrial zoning designation adversely impacts the value and saleability of the property.
Thank you. Would the applicants like to share any thoughts or add anything to what Mr. Knight has shared for the record?
No.
No? Okay. How about you? I know you were sworn in as well. Okay. Oh, you're later. Okay. You confused me. Okay. Okay.
Just if you guys have any questions for the applicant, that would be coming now.
Thank you. I will now open the floor to my colleagues who may have some questions for you. I'll begin to my left with Councilman Jones. Do you have any questions for the applicant or Mr. Knight?
Thank you, President Hill. No, I don't have any questions at this time.
Thank you. Councilman Rodriguez?
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Ms. Walker, and to both of you actually for joining us this evening. I'm just from my own curiosity, what are some of the difficulties you've had while you were trying to sell the property?
The difficulty for selling it is when you have industrial zoning. I checked with every lender. I called around to even local banks to see was there a conventional type mortgage to be had in an industrial zoned property, and 100% was no. It has to be a 25% down commercial loan, which is only fixed for 1 to 5 years on interest rate. And given that it's more of it's a home that's probably in the upper ones in price. It's about 1,100 square foot, 2-bedroom, 1-bath ranch. So to have a commercial, it would devalue it by at least 50, if not 60%, because it'd be relegated to being an investor-owned property and used as a rental property would then become its highest and best use, because it's only 1/10 of an acre. So there's not really anything industrial that you could do with that particular parcel.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I just was curious.
Sure.
No further questions.
Thank you. Councilwoman Rawls, any questions?
Thank you, President Hill. I don't have any questions. What Councilman Rodriguez asked was kind of the line that I was thinking, just wondering what were some issues you were having with it being zoned as industrial. So that's it for me. Thank you for coming tonight. I don't have any other questions.
Thank you. Vice President Green, any questions?
Thank you very much. Thank you all for being here tonight. I don't have any questions. It seems pretty straightforward.
Thank you. Councilwoman Davis, any questions?
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. Walker. I don't have any questions, but it's nice to see you this evening.
Thank you.
And if there are no questions, you could open up to public in case the public has any questions.
Thank you. At this time, we will open the floor for public comment. Just a few housekeeping notes. Please state your name and your address for the meeting record. If you don't feel comfortable sharing your address, please share the vicinity in which you live within the city. You have 4 minutes to share your comments. Mr. Parker will serve as our timekeeper. I will begin to my right. Is there anyone that would like to offer public comment? Okay, seeing and hearing no one. Anyone in the middle section? Seeing and hearing no one. Anyone to my left? Seeing and hearing no one. The time is 5:45 p.m. I will entertain a motion to adjourn our public hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. We stand adjourned.
And just so they know, of course, the bill will be moved to the next legislative session.
For a formal vote.
Yes.
Thank you all for your participation. At this time, at 5:45 p.m., I would like to call our second public hearing to order. Mr. Parker, can you please call the roll?
Yes. Ms. Davis,
Present.
Ms. Green,
Present.
Mr. Jones,
Here.
Ms. Rawls,
Present.
Ms. Rodriguez, Mr. Rodriguez,
President.
and Ms. Bowers.
Present. Thank you. As I mentioned during the previous public hearing, Councilwoman Daniels, who serves as our Community and Economic Development Committee Chair, is excused this evening. I will preside in her absence on behalf of the Community and Economic Development Committee. We have one bill, Bill 4 of 2025 for discussion. Mr. Parker, could you please read it into the record?
Bill 4 of 2025, an ordinance amending the City of Harrisburg's official zoning map to change the parcel zoning designations of 320 Riley Street, 1511 North 3rd Street, and 329 Harris Street, formerly 1530 North 4th Street, from the institutional INS zone to the commercial zone, CN zone, pursuant to Chapter 7-303 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Harrisburg.
Thank you. We will begin with a review of the exhibits.
Yes, thank you. Again, for the record, Tirsa Cameron, Deputy Solicitor. Exhibit A is the zoning map amendment application with attachments. Am I on? Exhibit B is a. Am I on?
There he goes.
And kicked out the plug. Exhibit B is the Harrisburg Planning Bureau case report. Exhibit C is the Dauphin County Planning Commission report. Exhibit D is the resolution of the Harrisburg Planning Commission. Exhibit E is a copy of the posting and proof of posting. Exhibit F is the public notice advertisement. And G is the proof of publication of those advertisements. Again, we will have Mr. Jeffrey Knight, our planning director, representing the city. And if the applicants could please state their name and who they represent, just for the record.
Sure. My name's David Schutte. I'm an attorney with Troutman Pepper Locke. And with me is Doug Neidig, who's principal of the applicants.
And now they can get sworn in.
Gentlemen, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you.
There you go. Okay. So for Bill number 4 of 2025, this proposal is a zoning map amendment for 3 separate properties. Those properties are 320 Riley Street, 1513 North 3rd Street, and 329 Harris Street. And so this proposal is recommending or requesting a change from the institutional zoning district to the commercial zoning district, commercial neighborhood zoning district. And in looking at this proposal, we have to kind of go back to consider why this was institutionally zoned in the first place. It's kind of in the middle of the Midtown neighborhood on a major corridor, Riley Street, going through the neighborhood. And what it really comes down to is that this, the zoning code was developed at about the same time that the Hack Midtown campus was being considered and proposed for this exact area. Some portions of which it was part of a larger plan for this area, and some portions of which, such as the 1500 North 3rd Street, which is now the STEAM Academy. There's a Hack building that's still standing on 4th Street, and then the Boyd Street Urban Meadow that was developed to kind of connect through to the whole campus. Those portions were developed, but later portions that were proposed for these blocks were not. And I think that was due to a variety of issues, the recession, and then later on, Hack's decision to kind of focus on their Wildwood Lake campus. In the intervening years, there had been some demolitions of the buildings on site there in order to prepare the sites for the eventual construction of new academic buildings in this area. Obviously, those never were constructed, so the properties have remained as kind of vacant lots. They do have some accessory parking for some of the Hack faculty and students that were going to some of the buildings that are in that neighborhood. But as, again, Hack has withdrawn kind of to their Wildwood Lake campus, their use has been slowly whittled down, and now it's the lots are very little used for that purposes. And so in looking at how to incentivize development there, which I think is not only important for the vitality of the neighborhood and for the city, but would also be in conformance with the city's comprehensive plan, we need to look at what the zoning is and how it promotes that type of development. Right now, the institutional district, has limited allowances for the types of uses that we might expect to see in this area, such as multifamily dwellings and various commercial uses. And additionally, on both the east and the west side of this corridor, you have CN zoned properties. 1511 North 3rd Street kind of wraps around the corner of 3rd and Riley Street, which are all CN zoned. And then further east of these properties along 6th Street is CN zone as well. So the proposal to convert the zoning designation from institutional to commercial neighborhood both makes sense from a kind of from a contextual standpoint, where you're looking at how does this relate to the neighborhood. There are existing CN zoned properties nearby, so you're not just kind of plopping this down in the middle of a residential neighborhood, for example. And it will help to effectuate the implementation of the city's comprehensive plan by promoting kind of mixed uses along this corridor and apartment uses, commercial uses for the general neighborhood. And so for those reasons, the applicant has submitted the current application, and the application was recommended for approval by the Planning Commission. And the Planning Commission has recommended that City Council approve the request without conditions for the following reasons. The properties appear to have been given the current institutional designation by previous city staff in furtherance of planning projects at the time, most notably the Harrisburg Midtown Campus Master Plan, completed in April 2007, which proposed the establishment of a Hack Midtown Campus, a project that never completely materialized. As such, it is reasonable to evaluate the current zoning designation and consider whether amending it will help promote current development and long-range planning goals. The current INS zoning designation has adversely impacted the city and community as it relied on a singular and outdated development model, which failed to materialize, leaving large vacancies in the neighborhood fabric and stymieing potential redevelopment of underutilized sites along the corridor. The subject properties are bracketed by CN zone corridors to the east along North 6th Street and west along North 3rd Street, as well as further to the south along Verbeck Street, where the Broad Street Market is, and thus the uses and development permitted by the CN district will not be contrary to the character of the neighborhood and, in fact, will reflect the mixed-use nature of the surrounding community.
Okay, if you want to open it up to the councilman for any questions of the applicant.
Sure. I just wanted to know, do you have anything you'd like to add
No.
outside of what Mr.
Well,
Knight shared before we open it up for questions?
I mean, we agree with everything Mr. Knight shared, and we thank him for the great overview of the request. Just to add a little bit more color to this, Mr. Neidig is working hard to develop on this site, should it be rezoned, a fully amenitized multifamily project that would have 144 units with 2,600 square feet of commercial space on the first floor and 157 accessory parking spaces. So it would be, and as fully amenitized, talking about is having fitness centers, business centers, and the amenities that would really attract citizens and residents to the city of Harrisburg in the Midtown area.
Okay, Mr. Neidig, would you like to add anything further?
Just a quick point to add that when we did the hack project back in 2006, 2007, by definition, we had to establish 750 surface parking spaces in the area, and those are mainly the blocks that we're talking about here. The city at the time gave us pretty firm directive that those were supposed to be temporary parking spaces. They didn't want to see an ocean of parking in the Midtown area, and I agreed with that. So what we're really doing now with this development is exactly what the city asked us to do 20 years ago, and that's turn these blocks, these lots, into more pieces of the Midtown development.
Well, thank you for clarifying.
Absolutely.
I'll now open the floor to my colleagues who may have some additional questions for you. This time, I'll start to my right with Councilwoman Davis. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, President Hill. No, I don't have any questions. It's pretty clear cut to me, and the zoning board has approved this, and also
The planning
the
commission,
planning
yes.
commission. So, yeah, I'm okay. Thank you. Thanks for being here this evening.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Vice President Green, any questions?
Thank you very much. I don't have any questions for you. I look forward to this plan. I know we've discussed it previously, so it's not like it's something new coming before us. So I'm just looking forward to seeing it actually come together. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Rawls, any questions?
Thank you. I just have more of a clarification just to make sure I'm correct on how I'm reading it, and what you're saying is basically it was formerly one address or one property. I think Uri was saying 1530 North 4th Street, and then it got broken into 3 after it got rezoned for the Hack Community College, correct? To come into Midtown?
So 1530 North 4th Street was one parcel that made up the northern block of this site. And in between the time we started developing the case report and now, the applicants had submitted a lot consolidation plan at the beginning of the year, and the county, I guess, just updated their maps. I think they do that quarterly.
Okay,
So in between then and now, they updated it, and that was the new address at 329 Harris Street. So that's the same thing as 1530. That was just the largest parcel that made up that block.
That's why I clarify, to make sure. Okay. Other than that, no, I was fine. I would only say, as I loved about changing it back and redeveloping it. I know we need more housing. We don't want a sea of parking, but we do want some parking. So please, as you do, parking is an issue. So as you think about it, please make parking easier, especially in Midtown. Everybody's like, well, you live in a city, parking's always hard. But I'm like, no, that's just cliche. It doesn't have to be. It's what you make it. So please, parking. That's it for me.
Thank you. Councilman Rodriguez, any questions?
No questions for me. Look forward to the project coming into fruition. Thank you all.
Thank you. And Councilman Jones, any questions?
Excuse me, no, more of a statement to add on to what Mr. Knight was talking about. This is desperately needed as we're looking to revitalize the city of Harrisburg, our walkable city, and I think this will bring that much needed foot traffic to the other corridors in the area. So thank you for your project.
This time we will open the floor for public comment. Same housekeeping rules apply. If you could please state your name and your address for the meeting record. If you don't feel comfortable sharing your address, please share the vicinity in which you live within the city. You will have 4 minutes to share your comments. Mr. Parker will serve as our timekeeper. I will begin to my right. Is there anyone that would like to offer public comment related to Bill 4 of 2025?
Hello, Ed Gerard, 1521 North 2nd Street. I just want to stand and, ask you guys, do make this change. I was actually surprised that it currently was in an institutional zone to begin with, right? I think anyone that lives in Midtown, I live, just a couple blocks away, think this is more of a neighborhood and a commercial street. So I guess I'll just ask you to approve this because I think it'll be good for the neighborhood, and thank you. All right.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to my right that would like to offer public comment?
Yeah, my name is Benjamin Hall. I live on the 1700 block of Penn Street, about 3 blocks away from the project. And I was just going to add on, there's already so much information about the benefits that this could serve in the community, but I also just wanted to draw a comparison, when we look at other cities, like Lancaster is a close neighbor to us, but you could look further away. You could look at New York, you could look at overseas cities, and you can kind of see this trend and this pattern of being able to support, healthy cities through mixed-use development and that sort of thing. But we can also look at the past. You could see Harrisburg in the past when it had 80,000 or more residents in the same unit or in the same space, really. So I just think it'd be a nice addition to, or a nice step forward for the city, I think, as well as, you could also kind of add the point that the area east of 3rd Street, like between 3rd Street and 7th Street, could certainly use, the extra business that, from 3rd to 1st Street that we already have so much of. That's all.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to my right that would like to offer public comment?
Can I raise this a little bit? Good evening, members of council. My name is Shane Fox. I live with my family at 1522 Green Street, right near the Midtown Cinema. I'm here tonight to ask you to please vote yes on Bill 4 of 2025 to rezone 320 Riley Street, as well as the other adjacent parcels. 320 Riley is an entire city block in my neighborhood. It's right next to an entire block. Both of them are empty. It's just a surface parking lot. And those of us who live there, we would love to have businesses. We'd love to have people living there. And the current owner of 320 Riley is prepared to spend tens of millions of dollars to invest in our city, to build housing for 144 units of housing and place for businesses. And I think that all those people that move into that apartment building are going to pay city taxes, and inviting those people to move to Midtown is going to make our local businesses boom. Right? All the places that I love, that I go to all the time, are gonna get so much business from this. And it's gonna provide much needed tax revenue for the city, as well as more badly needed job opportunities for people who live in the city. Like my daughter, she's 16. She's talking about getting a job, and she's talking about going somewhere out in the suburbs to get a job. That's where her friends are working. And I would love if she could work somewhere close to home. She could just walk to a place. And if we get more people in Midtown, all the businesses, Midtown Cinema, all the places that we go to, they're gonna have to hire people. They're gonna have to hire more people. It's gonna make jobs. Our new neighbors at 320 Riley won't have to worry about driving their kids to school in a car, because STEAM Academy is literally right across the street. Imagine that kids are going to be able to walk out of their apartments at 320 Riley and cross in a protected crosswalk and go right into the front door of their school. Imagine how many people in the surrounding area in the world would love to live in a place like that, where they don't have to put their kids into a 5,000-pound SUV and drive them miles to a school. Nobody who lives at 320 Riley is gonna need to drive to LA Squared to get Vietnamese food. Nobody's gonna have to drive to Two Brothers Pizza or Midtown Juice Lab. They're not gonna need a car to get to Raisin the Bar Bakery or Yellowbird Cafe or Elementary Coffee or Little Lamps. Nobody living at 320 Riley is gonna need to drive to get groceries at Radish and Rye or the Broad Street Market or Saferd Market. I've lost my. Nobody living at 320 Riley will need a car to get to Millworks or High Dive or Man Moose Tavern or the new sports bar that just went in literally next door to where this apartment building is gonna be. None of our future neighbors at 320 Riley will ever need to worry about where to park their car when they come to city council meetings. Right, I came from the neighborhood, I just walked down here. I walked out the front door of my house and I walked down here. I've never once driven in a car to a council meeting. They're not gonna need a car to go to see movies at Midtown Cinema. They won't need a car to get to HMAC to go see shows, Whitaker Center, Open Stage, Gamut, Narciss Theater, because all those places are within easy walking distance of 320 Riley. And so please, again, just vote yes on Bill 4 of 2025. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was not a paid endorsement.
Okay. Is there anyone else to my right that would like to offer public comment? Seeing and hearing no one. Anyone in the middle section? Okay, seeing and hearing no one. Anyone to my left? Seeing and hearing no one. If there are no final questions or comments from council members, I move to add Bill 4 of 2025 to our next legislative session agenda for a formal vote. The time is 6:06 p.m. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. We stand adjourned.
Thank you.
We are going to keep things moving. The time is 6:06 p.m. I would like to call our work session to order. Mr. Parker, could you please call the roll?
Ms. Daniels, Ms. Davis,
Present.
Ms. Green,
Present.
Mr. Jones,
Here.
Ms. Rawls,
Present.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Present.
and Ms. Bowers.
Present, thank you. I would like to note for the record, Councilwoman Daniels is excused this evening. We will begin with the work of the Administration Committee. We have two resolutions for discussion, Resolution 22 of 2025 and Resolution 23 of 2025. Mr. Parker, could you please read both into the record?
Yes, Resolution 22 of 2025, a resolution appointing Shay Zwerver to serve on the Board of Directors of Capital Region Water, a municipal authority. Resolution 23 of 2025, a resolution appointing Pierre O. McCoy to serve on the Board of Directors of Capital Region Water, a municipal authority.
Thank you. If both potential appointees could please join us. You didn't need to be sworn in after all.
I even knew the rules too from the Parking Authority Board. I'm like, well, maybe that'll help. No, it's December session. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. So if you both wouldn't mind taking a moment to please introduce yourselves. You can begin.
Just name or background, anything?
Everything,
Okay.
please. Thank you.
Sure. Well, good evening, council members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm honored to be considered to serve on the Board of Directors for Capital Region Water. My name is Shay Zwerver. Very impressed with the pronunciation. Thanks. I am a Pennsylvania native. I've lived in the area for 9 years and as a resident of the city for the last 3, and have always strongly held the belief of the Susquehanna River as such an asset. But I also think that access to safe and reliable water isn't just a utility service, it's a public trust and building block of public health, environmental sustainability, and economic opportunity. And I want, like many of you, to help contribute to that foundation of a healthy and thriving community. I have a professional background in environmental policy, public affairs, workforce development, and program and strategy development. I bring experience working with state and local agencies, nonprofits, communities, as well as building coalitions between those groups to help address issues that include environmental quality, economic mobility, and public safety. I also bring a deep personal commitment to environmental stewardship and public service, and that motivation helps push me to not just fulfill responsibilities, but to actively look for ways to collaborate more effectively and innovate. Serving on the Capital Region Water Board of Directors would allow me to apply my experience to ensure Harrisburg's infrastructure is resilient, responsive, and equitable and efficient. Thank you.
Thank you for your introduction.
Hello, thank you. My name is Pierre McCoy. I live in Uptown, 5th Street between Witnessco and Radnor. I currently work for the Susquehanna River Basin Commission. I'm a hydrogeologist. I came here in this country when I was 5 years old, where my mom taught at the Steel School before it closed, the William Penn before it closed, and then finally she retired from Ben Franklin.
Excuse me 1 second. Can you please move the microphone closer to you and make sure the green light is on? Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Thank you.
I've been here and lived in the city in 2007 is when I moved in, Uptown. Before that, I was a consultant for an engineering firm, did a lot of stormwater work, clean water work, drilling, so forth. Currently, I'm in my 13th year at the commission, where it's obviously a federal Hatch Act job, so there are some limitations, obviously, but I deal with primarily stormwater, clean water, and most importantly, environmental justice. One of the reasons I put my name in the hat for this is that Uptown, the Capital Region Board, we have a lot of consent decrees. We have a lot of issues with our combined sewer and our water, and it's very expensive, especially for our elderly neighbors. So hopefully with our innovation and my ability to help the board kind of bring the prices either down or stabilize them, so we can have clean water, clean stormwater, and clean sewer. Lastly, I think it's also important that the stormwater portion and the clean water help our kids. I live between two schools, right, up on, over Division and the current Steel School, and the kids need clean water, clean sewer, so they can grow up and do good things. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. So that's why I throw my name in the hat, backwards. But I really hope that I can help the board actually do good things for our city. I hope that we can look to find savings. I hope we can find ways to have other townships help, because they obviously use our services as well. And hopefully we can make our city thrive and not impose a huge financial burden.
Thank you. Thank you for your introduction. I think I have one question. You said several times you threw your name in the hat, threw your name in the ring. How were you both perhaps contacted regarding these vacancies or courted for these potential appointments?
Do you go first? So actually I was watching a Dolphins game with my friend Nate Davidson, and he knew that I worked at the commission, and he was like, you know, you have the skills to help, and I'm already on the Harrisburg Parking Authority Board, which is a thankless job, so why not, you know, do another thing for our city? And I love this city. I think I could do good work, and I think my skills can help, and that's why I put my name in the hat.
Thank you. And how about you?
Similarly, there was a member of the board who I had introduced myself to and went into detail about my background working in environmental policy and as well as workforce development and environmental justice as well, stormwater management. And they had communicated that there would be openings on the board, that there currently is an opening, and if I was interested to, you know, communicate that and then share my credentials and resume with the mayor's office, and then connected with other board members and, you know, talked with how I could bring value to the board.
Thank you. So maybe one other question, and you may have addressed this in your introductions, but I would like to know, what impact do you believe that you will be able to make on this board?
Your turn this time.
Okay. Yeah, the impact I think I can bring to the board, like I said, I have just like the personal commitment and motivation to helping ensure that the Harrisburg's infrastructure, especially when it comes to water and stormwater management and sewer, works effectively, also that it's affordable and that it's resilient and responsive. My background in the environmental policy, as well as like public affairs, government relations, coalition building, and workforce development, have kind of a diverse and uniquely connected way that I've always been passionate about helping build career pathways for people who are on the fringes of the workforce, especially of those who have been impacted by the criminal legal system, and making them aware of job opportunities in their community, and especially meaningful and fulfilling career pathways. And so there's opportunity now. As my resume shows, I work part-time for the city doing on their shade tree program with urban forestry. And so I'm really excited about the opportunities there are to collaborate between the city and the school district with incorporating environmental education and how to leverage the regional ecosystem like the Susquehanna River and then bring that into the science curriculum into the school district.
Interesting. Thank you. How about you? What impact do you believe that you will be able to bring to this board?
Thank you, Mr. President. I think what I can bring is actually my skill set involving environmental justice and grants. Having managed millions of dollars of grants across the basin, looking for solutions that aren't just throwing money at a thing. I've seen the bills rise. I've seen my neighbors complain. I've seen my neighbors, I say the trash, it's not related, but, where they have to go without trash for a few months until they can go back on arrears. I think it's really important that we look at our quality of water, our quality of sewer, our quality of stormwater, but make it affordable for those that need it. And I think that skill set I can bring to the Capital Region Board, look at some grants that might be out there. Hopefully they're still around. We'll see. But that's the skill set I think I can bring. Plus my 20-plus years of being a hydrogeologist, drilling new wells, doing clean water work, doing sewer and stormwater assessments, all that given a perspective that could help.
Thank you. I don't have any other questions at this time. I will open the floor to my colleagues who may have some additional questions for you. I'll begin with Councilwoman Davis. Any questions?
Thank you, President Hill, and thank you both for being here. Clean water and affordable water sounds great to me. So both of your backgrounds seems to be that you would be able to accommodate both of those very important objectives for our seniors and everyone else in the city of Harrisburg. So I look forward to watching you and seeing what actually evolves from your service. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice President Green, any questions?
Thank you very much. First, good evening to you both. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for even considering being on the authority or the board. A couple of my questions have already been asked. So first, I'll just start with Go Ship, because I see you went to Shippensburg. I'm an alumni there as well. Do you have any conflicts of interest, or do you foresee any conflicts of interest sitting on this board?
Yeah, that's a good question. I do not. I think they aid each other well, working part-time with the city on the shade tree program with urban forestry. Part of what I'm working on is community outreach, so how to engage community members and increase tree canopy, especially in neighborhoods that have been, historically disinvested in, as well as routinely overlooked. So I think that just complements the stormwater management that the Capital Region Water is already working on. But again, it's just, my focus is just part-time and aiding in that community outreach, as well as increasing tree canopy and the environmental education component. So I think they'll be really complementary.
Yes, I do have a conflict of interest. I work for the Susquehanna River Basin Commission. We offer several grants. One of them actually is currently with the Capital Region Water. That conflict of interest would mean I would have to recuse myself from any discussion or voting at the board. I don't think it would be detrimental to that, because the board is large enough to handle missing one vote. However, my knowledge of other grants that I wouldn't have to be recused from, I think would be okay. The second one is I am on a parking authority board. If there were any disputes between, say, the Capital Region Water or parking authority, which I highly doubt, but it's a very outside chance, I want to be very open here, that also would require recusal. That board, however, is missing a member, and so that actually would cause an issue with that board. That's the only conflict of interest that I am aware of that I have right now.
Thank you very much. And then next, you kind of spoke about community outreach. How do you plan on encouraging more community outreach? Because I know, like, recently the water meters have been being replaced, and a lot of people haven't been happy about getting a letter in the mail, and that was about it. And then you saw like a $500 charge because you didn't call some third-party company to get your water meter replaced or couldn't schedule it in a time. So how will you increase, or how would you encourage Capital Region Water to increase their community outreach so that the residents are actually informed?
That's a good question. First, I'd be excited to familiarize myself more with what's been done historically at Capital Region Water, but I strongly believe of like having public input in the process of like, looking at neighboring communities too, or other jurisdictions and municipalities, not just in PA, but like what's been effective for other water authorities when it comes to community outreach, but then also hearing from the community members, whether it's through meetings, but I think as a board and then as like entities such as your council of like collaborating on what can we do to be more effective, but I'd be excited to help innovate ways around that.
For the outreach, that's a good question. I see a lot of Capital Region trucks around my neighborhood. We're right by the overflow by Front Street. I think there's an opportunity to have more of a joint partnership with perhaps neighborhood services in the city. I know in France, our region water, the cleaning, the street sweeping, there's people on the street. It's almost like your mail person, right? So you get more discussion with the people for outreach. Setting up a booth is great, on Front Street for Capona, but actually talking to people, walking and seeing, being around and being like, hey, my stormwater's clogged, or this or that, instead of just sending a letter, perhaps it could be a little heavy-handed. That grant you're speaking, which is actually an SRBC grant, so I don't want to talk too much about it or why it's set up that way, so I recuse myself from that, I'm sorry. But I do think there's better opportunity to actually get outreach, and I think Capital Region Water collaborating with our city neighborhood services folks, I think there's an opportunity there that could actually join us a lot better, like we used to be back in the day.
Yes, when it was all run by the city back in the day.
There's a good part sometimes.
That's the only questions I have. Thank you again for even considering the position. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vice President.
Thank you. Councilwoman Rawls, any questions?
Thank you. Thank you both for being here tonight and being willing to volunteer your time to be on the Capital Region Water Board. All of my questions have actually been asked and answered, most of them. I actually do have one more and then one comment, but the only question I had was kind of going off of the outreach part too, especially so I guess it's more of a comment than a question, but a lot of times in the mail we get bills that say estimate on them. And a lot of residents don't know that that's what's happening until 2 months later you get a $500 bill that when you finally call and ask, why is this so much, they'll tell you, oh, well, we've been estimating your bill for the past couple months. If you are to be on this board, I will say, so it is more of a comment, please find a way to have outreach to residents about that, because everybody doesn't understand what that estimate means until you get hit with that large bill at one time, and then you really can't do anything about it. It's very difficult, and then you have to make payment plans, and I mean, it's very stressful. So I think trying to find some type of way to, one, not have that type of bill. We should always be having our meters read exactly and what the actual read is and not an estimate would be definitely step one. But also step two should be changing the processes within Capital Region Water so that if that does happen, there is some type of customer service. So no one's paying that large bill. And then I would definitely say step three is just that outreach to let residents know what to do. So I would truly appreciate that if you are placed on this board, because that is a huge issue. I will also say, Shay, you had me at when you said education and Harrisburg School District. I'm a teacher, so that type of outreach is big. Pierre, you're great too. I'm just saying that education really got me tingly, so thank you. That's it for me.
Thank you. Councilman Rodriguez, any questions?
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you both for your willingness to serve in this capacity and joining us this evening. My question was geared towards the conflict of interest, but I have more of a statement for homeowners in the city. There's been multiple complaints that we've received regarding the underground pipes that CRW does control, not the waste pipes under the home, the ones actually leading into the street. I myself had a big issue arise where they'll definitely bang on your door and leave tickets and say you need to address something, but when you do address it and it's on CRW, they've been MIA ever since. And I mean, from paying, there's homeowners that can't afford to get the pipes jetted, but they do. you know, and they can't afford to get a lot of those services done, but maybe Pronto comes out and offers a deal or a discount. But then what happens when CRW finds out the burden is on them? There's no follow-up. There's no, in my situation, we've released the camera footage where they saw it was 60 feet out into the street. There was never follow-up. There was never anything. So there are still backed up pipes on 19th Street in Harrisburg that CRW just keeps jetting monthly because they don't want to deal with a much bigger issue. It could be party lines, it could be a lot of different things, but there's a deeper, darker secret that lies underneath those pipes under the city that sometimes are the burden of CRW. So hopefully as board directors, there's a voice that you could speak for the voiceless in the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Jones, any questions?
Yes. Thank you both for being here as well. And I would also add on to that because I have the same issue. And I waited for a very long time for CRW to come out and stick their camera in the sewer to find out that I did have a party line. Partial of it was calling PA1 to mark the lines and see where my sewer line was. And I dug up the whole front of my house and it wasn't there. That was horrible. But it did take them some time, and I know they had one operating camera, and I hope they can invest in another one. I know they cost about $100,000, but the kind of money that they're making, they should be able to purchase another one. But my other question is more to both of you guys' background. And I had the great opportunity to actually tour DeHart, and along with State Rep Davison and Karen Balaban, so we all went up, and I like what they're doing with our sewage water. I toured that section, but our drinking water as well. That's very important to me, and as you spoke about, if you guys are, not if you guys are, but being environmentalists, geology, how do you feel about fluoride in our water? And this is huge, and I'm saying this is very huge for me because the responses I get, well, we put the regulated amount in it, but then when I see how they have to administer it to our water, you have to almost have on a hazmat suit to put this in. But I think this is a huge issue. It calcifies scientifically, it calcifies our bones, and we over time, even in our toothpaste. So how do you guys feel about fluoride, and would you be an advocate to try to remove this from our water?
I'm gonna go first. So I'll say from the first perspective, that's a regulatory issue that as much as the board may want to change and do things, we would have to follow Pennsylvania law and rules for drinking water. So just aside, it wouldn't be a magic turn off, turn on. I am not a biochemist to know exactly what the water changes would be. I will say what you're saying when you put fluoride into the water, you have to wear a hazmat suit. When I was a geologist for private consulting, I worked for DuPont, and I had to go clean up Jolly Rancher flavoring that was a level 3 hazmat. So, and you put that in your mouth. Certain times, chemicals in certain concentrations can.
How to stop eating Jolly Ranchers?
But so it's a little bit doesn't hurt, a lot can kill you. And I would follow the science and what it says and what's good. I do know that it's really important for newborn children, for strong teeth. It reduces cavities. For certain things, it's not the cure-all be-all. Maybe there's a better thing, but I would follow the science and see what it says, along with regulations by Pennsylvania.
Well, I'll respond to that. And be clear, this is something that I've been looking at for a while, and that's the response that I get to newborn babies and, people that can't afford to go to the dentist and take care of their teeth. But there's are other states and municipalities that's actually removed this chemical from our drinking water. And I will say, once I look at some of the process up there, and other than the fluoride, a lot of our water has a good pH balance in it. I will say that because I saw the process, and it was almost 7.5. It blew my mind, especially with the old infrastructure and the pipes that we're talking about underground, and they break up and get brittle. But yeah, I just hope that you guys can really look at that. And because if it's done somewhere else, I think we can do it. It's really an issue for me. It's not a deal breaker for you guys, but I'm just wanted to be able to share that. So thank you for your response, and now I'll hear yours.
Well, I'll kind of echo what Pierre said, but also that I don't have as much background in kind of the additives to our drinking water. But I will say that I think I really appreciate that first there's at least the openness and willingness to go and take the tours and see what's happening within the system, and then you like bringing up the dialogue to kind of push, because I think that's really healthy of ways we can, one, see how systems are being operated and what's happening, and then like as you learn, push back a little bit and have a larger dialogue. So I think that's what I need to do, is educate myself more on, I think at that level of like what's the additives. And I know now fluoride, it's a little bit of a political, controversial, conversation with fluoride.
Well, I wouldn't call it political. It's for me, it's a public health issue. You know, that's more of that for me. Again, but I appreciate your willingness to talk about that and educate yourself on it. You know, and one last thing I will talk about is our river, the beautiful river we all talk about, and the stormwater. You know, we're being fined. I know Capital Region has missed a lot of deadlines with the project, so I hope you guys can help push this along. And what else is needed to make this project get right? Because I believe our city is being get sued pretty much a lot, well, fined a lot because of the runoff that's going into our river. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys. So thank you.
Thank you. I have some additional questions and maybe some comments. Just wanted some clarification on a few things. Mr. McCoy, how long have you been serving as a member of the Parking Authority Board?
This is my fifth year. My term is about up, I guess, to be reappointed.
Okay.
Hopefully, or not.
Okay. Thank you. And Ms. Swerver, is your role as the community outreach forester, is that a part-time paid position, or is this a part-time volunteer role?
Part-time paid.
Okay. And you assist in managing and implementing a $2 million grant from the U.S. Forest Service to increase tree canopy and build capacity to manage the existing canopy, which you mentioned, but I just wanted to note that for the record. Okay. And my next question relates to the statement of financial interest form that is required for any board service within the city. Have you all completed the form and submitted it to the Office of the City Clerk and Office of City Council?
Yes.
Thank you. Just for everybody's, just a reminder for everyone, it must be within the clerk's office for 10 days prior to any action that council can take on a potential appointee. So I just wanted to note that and share that for your reference. I don't think I have any other questions. Council members, are there any other questions for the two potential appointees here?
Yes, thank you, President Hill. Thank you again for being here. Have either of you collaborated in your professional careers with the medical community in relation, as it relates to water quality, the environmental aspect that you work in?
Yes. Well, I worked at the State Department of Conservation Natural Resources, first in their urban forestry program and then in the policy office. And a lot of the work we did, we collaborated often with Department of Health, but also local and regional healthcare institutions because of the connections with trees and asthma rates. And then there's the stormwater, their contributions to water quality, stormwater management, and just the runoff and the bacteria and different pollutants that can go into the waterways, especially in waterways where people are, where it flows into drinking water systems or they're recreating. But I enjoyed the collaboration with different public health.
Thank you.
Yes, I've worked several projects with the Mennonite Homes Group. It's a nonprofit low-income retirement home where they were having a lot of illnesses on their seniors. It turned out the water was being contaminated by agricultural sources. We did a development. We found grants from them from the USDA. and then we helped them change their water so that they got healthy and reduced the amount of medicine they were on. That actually involved not only the retirement home, but also the local hospital and the doctors to all work together because they couldn't figure out why these elderly folks keep getting sick. And so it was really eye-opening how complex the medical field can be, but it was kind of gratifying to finally solve the issue.
Thank you. And so you anticipate working with the medical community and going forward if you are actually selected for this position?
Water and food is medicine.
Yes, I agree. I think Capital Region Water should be working alongside of the medical community because, I mean, hospitals use water, and if water is contaminated, it's a disaster for everyone. There was some pipes that broke in front of my house, maybe a few months ago. And so Capital Region Water actually came out and fixed those, and they gave me a container, well, it was a water pitcher, a filtered water pitcher to filter any particles that could have been in the water or coming through the pipes from the breakage or them repairing the new pipes. I'm not sure if I can even drink the water now. I usually buy spring water to drink, but I'm very skeptical about drinking city water. What can you tell me about this situation? I mean, do you think that if something like that happens and the pipes break in front of your house, they're repaired by Capital Region Water, Capital Region Water gives you a filtered water pitcher to drink out of, is that something that should be used ongoing for the next 6 months, a year? Is it something that I should be, or any other resident should be concerned about going forward?
Well, I can't speak specifically to that break in that situation. I know that when we flush hydrants up, I think it's a PA Aqua or whatever they're called, that French company now, we get rusty water at our work, and that's particulate, and it makes me nervous as well. We put it through a filter. I do know that a lot of that sediment is temporary. Typically, I would say that they want you to flush your house, but then again, the price of water is a little expensive. I could see where there was the opposite. As far as the quality of the water, actually, I have friends who've moved out of Harrisburg, and I bring them gallons of Harrisburg City water because they miss it. It's probably some of the best water in the entire world. I managed to travel in Europe. I've seen the testing. At the source, it's some of the best water in the world. Our pipes, however, are not necessarily great. So we still have some lead pipes. I know that the Capital Region's working on it to replace them. We have combined sewers. We have breaks. That needs to be addressed, the infrastructure. But the water itself is very, very good. So I can't speak to your house specifically. I think it's interesting that it wasn't flushed out, but I don't know specifics. But overall, it is very, very good water.
Okay, so you would say would you be willing to drink the water from the city without a filtered water pitcher? Just curious.
I do, all the time. And when they redid the gas lines in front of my street and half paved my street and knocked, I don't know what they did to our pipes, but it broke something and they fixed it. I did wait a week and flushed everything out until all the sediment was out of my system. And then I started drinking it again and it was fine.
Thank you.
For me.
Okay, thank you. That's it for me.
Thank you. Any other questions before okay, Councilwoman Rawls.
I just have one quick additional question. You both come with such a wealth of knowledge and experience from your other positions or things you've done in your life that can contribute to you being on the board for the Capital Region Water Company. I just had one question with Ms. Werver, because you had mentioned you have a paid part-time position with the city forester. Is there any conflict of interest with that at all, with her being on I know we don't own the water company anymore, but still, do you know if there's any conflict of interest? Just want to make sure. Okay, thank you. That was all I had.
Okay, thank you. I move to add Resolution 22 of 2025 and Resolution 23 of 2025 to our next legislative session for a formal vote, or legislative session agenda, for a formal vote. This concludes the business of the Administration Committee. The next committee we will hear from is the Parks, Recreation, and Enrichment Committee. I will defer to our chair, Councilwoman Rawls.
Thank you so much, President Hill. Mr. Parker, can you please read Resolution 27 of 2025 in?
Yes, Resolution 27 of 2025. A resolution authorizing the City of Harrisburg to negotiate and enter into a professional services agreement with Bata Environmental Associates for the purpose of providing environmental and geotechnical consultant services for the Hall Manor Aquatic Facility project.
Thank you very much, Mr. Parker. Is there anybody here from administration who could give us more information on Resolution 27 of 2025? Oh, yes, I do see there's someone online. I believe they're with Beta. Hello, please introduce yourself, what position you hold, and then you can begin. Thank you.
Good evening, City Council.
Yeah, hi, my name's...
Go ahead. I'll introduce us real quick, and then we'll head over to you. My name is David Baker. I'm the Facilities Director for the City of Harrisburg, and with me we have Deborah Rehart, who is our Senior Project Manager for the Facilities Department. Online, sir, I'll let you introduce yourself right now, if you'd like.
Yeah, my name's Kevin Burns.
We can hear you. Unless
Oh,
your
okay.
phone's-
I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I thought I heard someone else talking. Yeah, my name is Kevin Burns. I'm with Bad Environmental, the department manager for the Geo Environmental Group. So this type of scope of work falls under my department. And I was one of the main authors of the proposal that we submitted to the City of Harrisburg for this project. And my background is I'm a geologist. I'm a licensed professional geologist in the state of Pennsylvania. My background is geotechnical investigations, phase 1s, phase 2s, brownfields, your classic environmental geotech type work throughout Pennsylvania.
Thank you.
All right, so that being said, just to explain this to everyone here, the geotechnical and environmental studies that we're proposing to have done on the pool will basically set up the frame.
Excuse me, can you please speak into the microphone?
Okay, better?
Yes,
Sorry
thank
about
you.
that. These things are so touchy. The geotechnical environmental studies that we're proposing to have done to the pools here will really allow us to kind of make the framework for our path to move forward. If we move forward with these studies and we find out that we have a large number of detrimental issues, sinkholes, buried fuel tanks, you name it, we might have to rethink a location of where or how we're going to move forward with the construction for this project, and vice versa. If we find that we are clear of any sort of major issues in there, we know that we have lots of options that we can move forward in whatever manner we deem necessary after we've run these different tests and gotten these reports back.
Thank you. Is there anything you want to add to that, Mr. Burns?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll open it up to questions. The resolution was pretty straightforward. This is something we've been talking about for a while, especially with the grant money we got that I believe was $13 million. That included this pool out the south and also Jackson Lick, which I know is still an issue. So the only question that I had, and I know we needed to get this geological study done to see if we are able to even build or revitalize a pool out the south. But the only question that I had was, where would the money be coming from to pay for this? I think it's going to cost about $57,000 when I was a little bit over. Would it be coming from the $13 million or would it be coming from the Parks and Recreation budget? So that was my one question.
It's coming from the ARPA funding. It's $8 million was allocated to Hall Manor. And this is phase 1 of that, which was the $2 million for the design.
Okay, thank you very much. I will start here to my left at Councilman Jones.
Thank you, Councilwoman Ross. Yeah, my question is similarly related to that as far as the ARPA funding. We definitely need to find out what's going on with the ground out there for the pool. That's definitely a must-do. But again, when it comes to what do you see, and this question is for both of you, what do you see us moving forward if the ground is solid enough for us to continue utilizing the pool in Southside Harrisburg? But if it's not, again, even the repairs, because I know we talked about this as well, do you think that $8 million is going to be enough?
So to the first part of the question, as far as the work to be done out there after we have a viable space, I think we want to start with that as soon as possible. We all know that prices are not getting any cheaper for anything. So the sooner we act on it, the better. And I believe that after we get these reports back, we should have everything in order to start those next steps, to start working out there. And as far as $8 million goes for the entirety of the project, I do believe the space will lend itself well to that amount of money. Obviously, if it's not enough money to do the project, we can right-size that project to make the dollar amounts correct, or we can look for additional funding if necessary. So we have multiple options we can do. Obviously, the additional funding takes time, so depending on time constraints, either we reduce the size, the scope, or we phase the project if necessary. So we have different options we can look into if it's not enough to make the project whole right off the bat.
Okay, would that be based off of like design? I mean, when was this pool built? In 1968, I believe?
Yeah, around 1968. But yes, the design, once we get that design, it's going to give us a real rough idea of the total costs associated with it. And as we're doing the design, we can explain to the designers what our cap is, and they can make sure with that design that they keep that in mind so they don't go, way above and beyond and design us a $20 million structure that there's no way we can afford to build the whole thing all at once. So that's typically how we go about doing it.
Okay. That's it for me. And then my questions right there for now.
Thank you. Councilman Rodriguez?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for joining us this evening. Director Baker, I remember vaguely during the ARPA hearings, we were trying to stay away from calling it an aquatic facility because we didn't know how that word would confuse the residents. Are we still considering a pool, or are we still considering like splash pads, or is it contingent on what we find out with the surveys, et cetera?
So I can tell you with the surveys, it's really going to come down to if construction is viable or not.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what's put in there, the survey is going to tell us if we can do it, whether it's a pool or a splash pad. I do know that a pool is absolutely going in there. I do believe that the splash pad was reduced or eliminated, but the pool is definitely still a thing that we are planning on moving forward with.
Okay, that was my main concern. I know there was some discussion about the language, but we just wanted to rest assured the residents on the south side knew that that was a priority, and it's important that they get that back because that keeps kids busy during the summer, absolutely, and happy and cool. Yeah. That's all I have.
Thank you. I have an additional question, but I want to make sure my council members ask before I speak again. So I'm going to go here to President Hill. Do you have any questions?
Thank you. I wanted to clarify that we are just speaking of a pool, just reminding everyone that the residents regarding the ARPA funding were crystal clear that they wanted a pool. So I just wanted to remind everyone of that. Thank you also for the reminder of the ARPA funding. We've been trying to gain some updates from the administration related to ARPA funding to determine where everything stands. So thank you for the reminder of the phasing of this project. And then my last comment would be how many bids were received?
So we received 8.
8, okay. Okay, I don't have any other questions for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice President Green?
Thank you very much. Most of my questions have been asked and answered. I will say I'm glad to see this moving forward. It seems like a lot of things that we spoke about during the ARPA process, just kind of came to a standstill. So I'm glad to see this continuing to move forward and keeping the residents' wants and needs at the forefront of things. So thank you for getting us to this step, and hopefully we can move forward at a fast pace.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Davis?
Thank you, Councilwoman Rawls. No questions for me. Good evening.
Thank you. My additional question just was, I understand Beta is out of Philadelphia. If I'm speaking incorrectly, let me know. And we did receive 8 bids, so just wondering what stood out about them. I mean, they're local, but not local. I know Philly's our neighbor, but there are some differences. So just wondering what stood out about this company over the 8 that had bids, and how many were local bids?
Okay, so as Dave said, we did get the 8 bids, and off the top of my head, there were 3, I believe, that were local. That would be Navarro and Wright, Pannoni, and Skelly and Loy. And we did a traditional scoring process with them with set criteria that all of the proposals were scored against, and they had the highest score. They were also the lowest bid. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that information.
I apologize, next to lowest.
Oh, next to lowest responsible
yes.
bid. Okay. Next to
But the highest score.
of the highest score. Okay. So there was, just so I'm clarifying, because it's in my head, but just so I can say it out loud, there were 2 that were. Was there someone who had a higher score than them? No, they had the highest score in the next to lowest bid.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's why I had to say it again. Okay.
And just for clarity's sake, if you guys would like any copies of the scoring sheet, I'm sure we can turn those over to anyone in council who would like one.
Oh, that would be great if you could email them to us or email them to Mr. Parker and he could get those to us. I think that would be great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that notion, Director Baker. Those are all my questions. Does anybody else have any others? Oh.
Just a statement. Thank you for pretty much getting those over to us, to Mr. Mike. But I guess I could speak for council when I say we would love to see at any time any paperwork or materials that are pertinent to anything we have to look over, because it helps us make an educated decision. So, anything that goes with it, we would always love to see it or just include it over. That's never a problem, Director Baker. Thank you.
Thank you. President Hill has one more question. Mine went off on me. It's tricky. Go ahead.
I have one more question regarding the timeline of all of this. So should this agreement be successful in moving forward, what does the timeline look like regarding the study?
Yes.
All right, would you like to take this one for us? Let us know how long you expect it to take as far as the study.
Was that to me?
Yes.
Yes, that was for you.
Oh, okay. I was like, I thought they said me. I would say once we get our the first day we have boots on the ground, it'd be probably 4 months, 6 worst case scenario, but it'd be in that window until you'd have a final report from us. And obviously, we'd be communicating to you what we're seeing and what we're finding throughout the project.
Thank you. Thank you. And when they make that communication, is this something that you would provide in a quarterly report?
We certainly could.
I'm flexible. I can provide the email. I can do quarterly reports, monthly reports, whatever works best for anybody. It's not a big lift for me to do.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. I was speaking more to Director Knight on behalf of the... Oh, excuse me, Director Baker. I'm looking at you, and he's sitting right in front of me. I was speaking more to Director Baker regarding the city's quarterly reporting. But thank you for your flexibility. It sounds like you might be more flexible than the directors and administration here. So I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President Hill. I think we would love to definitely see a quarterly report if we could, Director Baker, if this goes through, just so we're on the same page of how progress is going, what the timeline is going to be, especially if it's going to take 4 to 6 months, just making sure we're keeping the community up to date with any findings. Would that be good with you, Director Baker, Ms. Reinhardt?
Of course.
Okay, thank you. One last thing, why have you here? Jackson Lick will be opening this summer, and when will it open?
June 12th.
I know it's a little off topic, but why have you in front of me? I think it's a great question.
Yeah, so we're shooting for the beginning of June.
Okay. And are there any repairs that are going to be done on it?
We
don't get to hear from you all a lot, so
yeah,
we
so
got you.
We've been working on the pool sporadically throughout the winter. We did our winterization this year. We did a really thorough job at it, and that definitely helped us out a lot as far as any sort of burst pipes or anything. Because previous years we've not been as hands-on. So this year we saved some time, but you know we always have we have to go out there. We bump all the motors. We have some massive, very very expensive motors that run all the pool filtration systems, and if they sit dormant all year long, they can kind of rust in place. So we have staff that go out there on a semi-regular basis. They bump them real quick. They'll turn them on and off really fast because there's no water in there. We don't want to burn them up, but at the same point in time, we don't want them rusting fast. Because they're between, I think, $11,000 and $15,000 to replace these motors. So we make sure those are up and running. We're scheduled to do that again this week, the final time before the actual opening, filling everything with water. We winterize all the filtration pipes, the filter house itself, the bathrooms, pull every single flushometer from every toilet, make sure the flushometers from the urinals are taken care of. We do everything necessary to try and best safeguard the city assets from freezing in the wintertime. And then in the summertime, we re-energize everything and find all the little gremlins, replace all the mixing valves, shower heads, you name it. If we have, this year we actually replaced every single partition stall in the bathroom, and that was a heck of a job, tearing out all the old rusty ones and putting in all new partitions between the restrooms. That way we have our ADA compliant sizing. We have all the proper grab bars and then dispensers and everything else necessary. So we're really trying to make it the best we can for what we have currently. So we should be good.
Thank you. Do you have to repaint the bottom of the pool again? Epoxy it, I believe it was called.
So unfortunately we do. We have to reseal that again. You can see exactly where the water line is, and I'm assuming it's the chemicals in the water that they're fading the sealant on that top coating. So we're doing that again this year. It'll be either at the end of this week or beginning of next week. We'll be pressure washing, and then we'll be pumping and filtering out all the debris that's in the pool shell currently. We need about 3 to 4 days of dry weather, and then we'll be repairing the expansion joints in the pool, and that's a pretty big job. We actually have to cut into the concrete and then fill those joints with an expansion material, and then the whole thing will get re-top coated with the paint.
Okay, thank you. And that was opening June 4th, right? Not 14th, or did you say?
I said that we're hoping for the beginning of June.
Okay, I guess I put my own
Yeah.
date down there, beginning of June. Okay, thank you. Well, I hope you all can come back and let us know when it's opening for the public's sake, just so when they know when it's time to go to the pool and we can get updated on them, because everybody doesn't go to the website. A lot of residents do listen to the meetings, even if they don't come. So thank you for that information. If there's no more questions, that concludes the business of the Parks, Recreation, and Enrichment Committee, unless you all have anything else to say. Okay, and I would like to put Resolution 27 of 2025 on the next legislative agenda, please.
Thank you. Our final committee business lies with the Public Safety Committee. I will defer to our Public Safety Committee Chair, Councilman Jones.
Thank you, President Hill. Mr. Parker, can you please read Resolution 25 and 26 into the record?
Certainly. Resolution 25 of 2025, a resolution confirming the appointment of Leon Houston Sr. to serve on the Citizens Law Enforcement Advisory Committee. Resolution 26 of 2025, a resolution confirming the appointment of Amici Walker Sr. to serve on the Citizens Law Enforcement Advisory Committee.
Thank you. Mr. Walker, Mr. Houston. Make sure you guys sit close to the mic so everyone can hear you. And introduce yourself, give a brief description of your background.
My name's Leon Houston. I moved here in 1981 from Meadville, Pennsylvania. Grew up out the South Side, played for the Cougars. My life took a little turn at the high school. I got in a little trouble, you know what I mean? But I turned it around, you know what I mean? I had kids. I got 4 kids and 2 grandkids. I'm here.
My name is Amici Walker Sr. I'm a lifelong resident of Harrisburg. I have been a part of the city internally with the community from probably since my early 20s. I also have ran for district judge in this community, in the same community, and part of my agenda was connecting the community with the police department and getting an education, giving education to both sides to try to amend, some of the relationships that has been strayed over the years, is finding ways to be able to connect them, being that bridge, and closing the gap on, the misconception of either side. So, I definitely have a lot of ideas and, concerns that I think I can help out the process, because that's a big issue in our city at this time. So I think that's one of the biggest, issues. So I feel honored to even be up here today to be able to, be a part of this committee and, make something happen.
All right, thank you. So I just asked a couple questions for you guys. Of course, grew up with you guys, know a lot about your backgrounds as well. Hopefully my colleagues got an opportunity to look at your resumes. So first I'll ask the standard question we always ask. Do you think there's any conflict of interest if you guys were selected to serve on this board that you can think of?
No.
Myself, I'm on another board, but I don't think it would be a conflict of interest. I'm on a board with the school, and that's Sylvan Heights Science Charter School. I'm a vice president on that board. I don't think that would be a conflict of interest, but that's the closest thing I can think of.
Nah, you'll be fine with that. And then my question would be, how do you feel serving on this committee will actually benefit the residents of Harrisburg? Either one of you can go first.
Okay, all right, no problem. I think it would be not only a pleasure of mine, but it would be, I will be a valuable piece because I'm connected to the community. I've been connected to the community for so long that they'll be able to, express certain things to me that they may not feel comfortable with expressing to officers and, certain people, officials that they may be intimidated by or, not able to communicate effectively with. So in the same sense, I will be able to, being in the gap, be able to educate them about some things that the officers in the city expect and expectations that they should have for themselves more so than anything, first and foremost, as they move forward to help the community be more safe. And on the other side, being able to sit down with the officers outside of their work duties. I've talked to them. A lot of times they're in a uniform and that nature, and they're not really, able to be open enough because they have the job to do, and to get them in a room and sit down and really hear what they have to say in a controlled environment, with not a lot of things going on, would be a great opportunity to, hear their side of things. Also give them some recommendations on how to deal with our community as well, because a lot of them really don't know how. And it's not nothing against them personally, but that's something we had to work on. We had to educate them about our community, and a lot of it is not book knowledge. Things they have training with through the academy and all the above. You have to be in this environment and to understand it to be able to police it correctly. And if you do it correctly, eventually it'll police itself once you build the correct relationships.
All right.
I basically feel the same way. I mean, you know, growing up in Hall Manor, the police used to come out there and throw the football with us. You know, we had the crate courts out back there. Come, let me get a shot. You know what I mean? I think trust, building a trust is everything. You know what I mean? Because even if you ain't doing nothing good, a kid can see a cop and get nervous. You know what I mean? I remember the cop used to ride past, we wave at him. The fire truck ride past, we like, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I just feel like this trying to get back to trusting each other. You feel what I'm saying? And I was on the other side. So at one time, it was always like, you know what I mean? But I know, you know what I mean, you got to have some structure. You know what I mean? So I just feel like, I mean, I'm a good, because I can relate to the community. They know who I am. You know what I mean? People don't even see me, no Big L. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, that's good. Also, for the record, too,
I'm certified as a credible messenger. All right.
Wanted to
I am
put that
certified
on.
as a credible messenger, too, so.
Unbadged officer. I said unbadged officer.
Thank you. That's all I have for you. I open up the floor to my colleagues, starting to my immediate right with Councilman Rodriguez.
Thank you, Chair Jones. Gentlemen, thank you for your willingness to serve in this capacity. Long time coming. Unfortunately, it's just something the administration didn't see value in, but council took it upon their own and made it work. I really look forward to seeing this body govern and be that liaison for the residents that we need. And one thing I want you gentlemen to know that's extremely important in this work, you're gonna get people that's gonna confront you and say, there's no power in the board, but guess what? That's why you have council members with subpoena power. So when you're not getting the answers you need, you make sure you come to your chair of public safety or any one of your council representatives, and we can not only subpoena, but go after those answers that you guys deserve on that board. They try to downplay the board often, downgrade the board often, but I think it's essential because I'm a man that has high integrity and walks a very straight line, proud father, business owner, and I still get nervous when the cop car gets behind me. And I don't got nothing on me but food from a food pantry, right? Like, it's just something that's like embedded in us from where we are, from detriments that we've encountered as children growing up, but it doesn't mean we're bad people. So if you're not getting the answers you need on that board, please see any one of us, especially your public safety chair, and I guarantee you we can fight together and make sure the residents are not only being treated fairly, but equitably, right? And we want to go back to the days where the officers, let me get a shot here, let me get, right? But it's going to take a lot of work, right? First of all, we're going to have to encourage these babies that it's a great career. And if we get more officers that look like us in our communities, that's when we'll start seeing things change for the better, right? And not saying that they're all bad, but there are some instances where it's just like, I said what I said, and it is what it is. And it shouldn't always be like that. We're not prisoners in our own community, and I hope the CLEAC board could bring a lot of positivity out. So thank you, gentlemen, both.
Appreciate it. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Councilman Rodriguez. But I would think about the subpoena powers. I think we've been down that road before, where it may come into an effect with the FOP and you know the CBA. I'm not sure. Can legal answer that when it comes to saying incidents? Yeah. Yeah, and I just want to make sure it doesn't conflict with.
So the question is how they work. They work differently in administrative matters.
Right.
This is about getting documents.
Okay, got you.
No, they have the right to request documents straight up.
Absolutely.
But you know, the board's got to familiarize itself first with the whole thing.
Yeah. Yep. All right, thank you, Councilman Rodriguez. Yes, I would again agree with it. I think this is a much-needed step moving forward, going into repairing a relationship with our police department and the community. So I'll pass it down next to Councilwoman Ross.
Thank you so much, Councilman Jones. Thank you both for being willing to volunteer your time on this board, for coming today and answering questions. I think these are the last two positions we needed filled. so we could get the board up and running. So thank you so much. This is a long time coming. You both are staples in our community, trustworthy in our community, and I think that will definitely help build that and reunite that gap right now that is between the police department and our residents. So I thank you for that. I know the board and what's laid out for it is so much more, and sometimes we go out of our job scope, and I can see both of you doing that to make sure that the job gets done. So thank you. I don't have any questions. It was just mainly comments. I'm just great. I just love that I see the 2 positions in front of us so we can get the board moving. So thank you again, and that's it for me.
You're welcome. Thank you. President Hill.
Thank you. I just had 2 comments and then maybe a question. So I just wanted to clarify that Mr. Houston is a city resident, and he resides in Police District number 5. And Mr. Walker is a city resident, and he resides in Police District 7. So I just wanted to note that, as Councilwoman Ross stated, we're really excited because we need all 7 appointments to the board for everyone to begin working. My question is, I know that Councilman Jones, in his role as our public safety chair, sort of put out a call to the residents, a broad call, specifically looking for Police District 5 residents and Police District 7 residents. But what piqued your interest? What made you say,
He bullied.
let me do it?
Say nah.
Like, what piqued your interest in stepping up?
I always talk to him anytime.
Yeah.
And he was just basically like, man, you'll do good at this. You know what I mean? So I was basically bringing it to him.
Okay.
It was something that was already a part of what I wanted to do or a vision I had. So when he brought it to me, it was an honor to say, oh, for sure. It was like a no-brainer. And I also like the way that he's connecting with the community with different topics, different things that we have concerns about. He's like right there, with answers or, I'll get back to you. Not, I don't know. It's the worst thing you can say when you're in leadership is I don't know. He finds the answers, and he's really connected with the community to try to get things, in proper perspective moving forward. So it was an honor to, take the opportunity to do this.
Well, thank you both for your interest, and I hope that it is a productive experience for you moving forward.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you. Vice President Green.
Thank you very much. First of all, thank you both for being here tonight. Thank you for taking the time to even consider this. Volunteering takes a lot out of people sometimes. It's a lot of time. It can bring stress. It's meetings. It's a lot of different things, and you're representing the city. So I appreciate you even taking that on your shoulders, because that's a big step. This has been a long road to get here, from the conversations to create the bill, to the community forums, to the sitting, waiting for the administration to make their appointments until we just had to step up and take the role on ourselves. So I appreciate you guys for being here. I look forward to this. I will tell you, like, listening to you and then knowing you, Coach Meach, we go back to most off baseball days when you was my coach, and knowing the work that you do in the community. I will say that when this board was created, this committee was created, it was with community members like you and mine, people who really represent the community, who know people, who can be that liaison, because that's a really important role. Just putting anybody in these positions that's not comfortable with the community and the community's not comfortable talking to does us no good, because it just creates another barrier. If people don't feel comfortable coming and having these conversations or bringing up issues that are going on, then the board's not going to serve us any justice. So I thank you guys for the work that you've already done in the community to build that trust, and I appreciate you lending that to the city. So thank you.
You're welcome. Councilwoman Davis.
Thank you, Councilman Jones, and thank you, gentlemen, for being here. I voted for this initiative to move forward. I'm always supportive of anything that we can do as a community to help our youth. We have so many great examples of success in our community, but unfortunately, the negative has overshadowed all of that. I just look at my colleagues as well as myself, business owner, entrepreneur. I'm a medical professional, and I've raised a doctor, you know, and I'm born and raised right here in the city of Harrisburg. And there's many more success stories here. I just would like to see more. But for the business at hand, I support you. Anything that I can do to help you do your jobs better. We got to get a handle on what's going on out there right now with the gun violence and everything. But again, I would just like to see some more of our success stories. We're all successful sitting here, and we have various backgrounds. I like to see more of that out here in council, because we do have youth in our community that are doing great things. They're all not getting in trouble. So thank you again for being willing to serve. Appreciate you, and thank you for being here this evening. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's it for me.
And yes, thank you, Councilwoman Davis. So I'll just give my colleagues an update as well on the CLEAC board and the community for our people that are viewing. I did reach out to all of the members that were the five members that were previously appointed, and they all still are on board, which is a good thing. They are still interested. I know they've been lingering for a very long time, but it was just great to reconnect with them and make sure that this will actually have an opportunity to move forward, because I believe our community really needs it. So with that being said, that it concludes the business.
But before we conclude, I just want to make sure the record is clear and that everybody understands the board is not actually complete yet.
Yeah.
So once the 7 members have been gone through, then they have to get together, pick 2 more, and they come back and see you guys as well. And then the board will be complete.
Yeah, I did see that. I didn't know.
Thank you for that.
Know if they were alternative or not, but at least
been so
our
long.
portion of it.
Correct.
And yeah, it's 2 at large.
It's been so long that you just.
But I think we do have other applicants that apply, so I think they can be able to look at those individuals as well. Because we did, once we put out the request for people to attend this, we've had an abundance of people wanting to serve on this. So I think this, again, we're in a good space right now, and I think and it's time for us to get this thing rolling. So just for the record, I just wanted to give an update. Councilman Rodriguez.
Thank you, Chair Jones. And I just wanted to make a statement on record for everyone that's viewing at home to how complex sometimes things can be in the decisions we have to make as council members. Councilwoman Asha Green started this in 2020, and I picked up the burden when I got office and chair. Councilman Jones is now completing the work. So, I mean, we've gone through it, going on 6 years now, and it's not always as easy said as done. So I just wanted to put that on the record, because sometimes when we're in the streets, I'm sure everyone gets that. What's taking you guys so long? Why can't we just enact it? It is a process to everything we do, and sometimes slow motion is better than no motion. But I really like to congratulate the council as a whole, the administration, and you gentlemen sitting here, as well as the 5 that were appointed, and I look forward to CLEAC being fully formed and getting to work. So thank you all.
Yes. Go ahead.
The last thing I would say is just to remind council that it is up to you guys to decide. One of these positions goes for 2 years, and one of these positions is for 3.
Yep. So before I move forward, does any of my colleagues have any more questions or comments?
Just one more comment. A big thank you to the legal department, because this wouldn't be possible without you. I know Neil and I sat down many times, predecessors to some of these positions and myself sat down and created trainings and PowerPoints and all sorts of things that hopefully will be able to be used if they're still available. But just thank you to the legal department. Even up until now, you're reminding us of the next steps and what needs to be done. So a lot of the work you do doesn't get recognized, and I just want to say I appreciate it.
All right. So yeah, that concludes the business of the Public Safety Committee, and I would ask that this be moved to the next legislative session for vote. And I also ask my colleagues to support it. That's it.
Thank
you, gentlemen.
Thank you. We will now open the floor for public comment. Same housekeeping rules apply. Please state your name and your address for the meeting record. If you don't feel comfortable sharing your address, please share the vicinity in which you live within the city. You will have 4 minutes to share your comments. Mr. Parker will serve as our timekeeper. I will begin to my right. Is there anyone that would like to offer public comment? Seeing and hearing no one. Anyone in the middle section? Okay.
Good evening, council members. Excuse me. Mark Karowski, current chairman of the board for Capital Region Water. Just wanted to thank you all for the extensive vetting process this evening for the two candidates under resolutions 22 and 23 of 2025. Would express my heartfelt support for both candidates. Absolutely, on paper, they read incredibly well. I had the pleasure of sitting with Ms. Werver. Her background is so spot on for what we need on that board. I actually know Mr. McCoy professionally years ago from having crossed paths, so I think both would be phenomenal candidates in addition to our board. As you may be aware, we've had an empty seat for quite some time now, so to fill the board out would be fantastic. And I believe, and I'm not going to speak for Representative Davidson, who's not here this evening, but I believe part of this was he's now got his hands full with some matters up on the Hill to be able to step away, and these two candidates would just be fantastic to fill those seats. A number of questions that came up tonight that I would happily speak to separately after the fact around metering, around some of our public engagement and outreach. I don't want to tie up public comment for that. Certainly about the fluoride situation, which has most certainly become a hot topic we're happy to discuss. One thing I would say to Councilwoman Davis, our water absolutely, unequivocally, we actually just, I think 4 years ago, we won a national contest that we were named the 5th best drinking water in the country. We take great pride in how we treat our water in our system. Absolutely, we've got 100-year-old pipes. 3 years ago, we dug up a pipe that was made of wood. So like we certainly encounter different things, but we work very hard to, prioritize capital improvements to replace those things. And when we do have main breaks or leaks, there is a process that we go through to ensure that when those things are reconnected, there's bacterial testing, there's a number of things that happen before we give the okay to say, hey, you no longer have to boil water, it is okay to drink, absolutely. So plenty more we could talk about. I could talk about CRW all day long, but thank you all again for your consideration of these candidates. We'd love to have both of them on board. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the middle section that would like to offer public comment? Seeing and hearing no one. Anyone to my left?
Good evening. My name is Melanie Cook. I live in the Riverside community. This has been a very informative meeting, and I will try to keep my comments to 4 minutes because a great deal was covered today, and there needs to be a great deal of citizen input on all of this. I want to commend council for passing the baton so that we could get a Citizens Law Enforcement Advisory Committee. The process should not have been this hard. Many cities across this country have it, and it's something that this community needs. So I commend you, but we need to recognize that you have to keep pushing, because this stalling everything out is what is leading to decisions being made on behalf of these citizens that are not in their best interest. But to just start out, I want to commend Councilmember Jones for contacting citizens who are in and of this community. But that should cut across every advisory committee, including the one for CRW. I too have an environmental background. I was litigation counsel for the Department of Environmental Protection. I have experience in stormwater dating back a decade and a half or more. I, however, don't know anyone on the current CRW committee, so I was not advised that these positions are open. That can't be how this works. It cannot be, we tell the people we want on the board. It has to be something that is posted so fully qualified people from all different backgrounds have an opportunity to jump in and push this ball forward. Because this is a long-standing issue with CRW where, quite frankly, they cherry pick who's on that committee and they stay forever. And it is absolutely the case that the water that is coming out of the source that feeds the city of Harrisburg is the best in the country. That is an asset that this city should be holding over every possible entity within a 100-mile radius.
And we have to recognize that's our asset. CRW was created to manage the water for the city of Harrisburg and neighboring municipalities. And I don't think we are exerting the influence we should have over the process of how this works. And that includes stormwater management. I don't know how many of you know, but there is a meeting that is scheduled on May 21st to discuss Riverfront Park and stormwater control. I can see by the expressions on your face that it has not been communicated. You cannot have a fully functioning city council that is not made aware of critical factors that CRW is overseeing. And I could get off on a tangent on that, but it is imperative that city council members show up for these meetings and be part of the community discussions, because there is a great deal of money that they have at their disposal, and how that money is spent, what sections of the city, large sums of money is spent, is very much contingent upon who is on their board. And if you don't have someone on the board who lives in the South, if you don't have someone on the board who lives in certain neighborhoods of Allison Hill, they cannot advocate in the same way that, let's say, Bellevue Park, which got $100,000 worth of renovations, and I know you know that, Council Member Rawls, for ponds in that community. Not saying it was not necessary, but that's a lot of money to be spent in one of the most heavily, wealthily financed communities in this city. The other issue, the whole situation with the Hall Manor Pool. Now, we have not had any public comment on that ARPA money for going on 2 years. This is a recurring situation in the city of Harrisburg. They will hold public meetings. The public will turn out and comment, and then there is dead silence for a year, year and a half, 2 years, and all of a sudden decisions are being made, snap, snap, snap. Now, first and foremost, it's not ARPA money anymore. The money is in the general fund. $8 million for one pool.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but your time has expired.
Yeah, I do understand that my time has expired, but from a public comment period, to sit here for 2 hours and have a wealth of subjects covered, and then limit the public to 4 minutes to respond to something that has taken 2 hours, is something that you should break the public comment period to each and every section of what was on this agenda. Because Hall Manor, $8 million, $57,000 for a geological study, a Philly firm. Are they going to be billing us from when they leave Philly to when they come to Harrisburg? There are 9 million questions that need to be answered about how they got the contract, how effectively, what they're going to be looking at, why none of this has been looked at over the course of the last 2 years. It's going to take another 4 to 6 months, so that pool is going to be closed. Not to mention that prior to the dropping off the face of the earth, we were told as a public that the pool was in such bad shape that it couldn't be resurrected. So how are they going to resurrect it? And if they can't resurrect it, why are they getting ready to spend $60,000 to determine what, if any, environmental hazards there are that would impact the ability to either renovate the existing pool or put a new pool in? So I would ask that council open up public comment by having actual public comment meetings where people can come in and speak. People don't turn out because you can't effectively communicate all your concerns in 4 minutes, and I apologize for, well, actually I don't, but I recognize that there is a 4-minute limit, and I would be happy to talk to anybody about additional concerns that I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to my left that would like to offer public comment?
I'll make this real quick since she went over. I actually wasn't even going to speak, to be honest, but I wanted to clarify something because you asked Grover a question, and under Title 11, you have the power to subpoena him or anyone y'all want to. He didn't answer that question directly. He tried to give you a legal mumbo jumbo, but FOP, collective bargaining, their contracts, they don't supersede the statute. You have a statutory power to do that under Title 11. In saying that, I would love for you to get January 27 body cam footage or the officer subpoenaed, Corporal Restrepo, Glunt, Appleby. Subpoena them, question them about January 27th. I'm done.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to offer public comment? Don't want to miss anyone. Okay, seeing and hearing no one, the time is 7:28 p.m. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. We stand adjourned.